This video is made for adult collectors. Hello Internet, I'm Roffy Offensive Recorder Offensive, that's my name, don't wear it out, and I love Transformers. I have so many that they're taking over my room, and since the boxes are 99% air, I've decided to open them up. Today we have the Transformers Legacy United Cybertron Universe StarScream, so why aren't I opening up the new one? Well, that's a long story for when I actually get my hands on him, and just you wait because man am I pissed. But getting back on track, I've actually been waiting to open this up for a while. I got him back in 2024 when he came out, and now that StarScream has become one of my girlfriend's favorites, as luck would have it, she found this specific one at Ross and opened it up. And lately I've been eyeing up the vintage toy and found a dirge at the swap meet, but after what we went through trying to get her the 86, I think opening this up is just what I need right now. So the first thing I notice about this is that he's very thin, but that's just because he has some assembly required. For his accessories, he brings big detachable shoulder wings that have blades hidden inside, smaller tail fins that can be used as axes, a purple clear plastic blaster rifle, and infamously a cyber key. And if you don't know what that is, a cyber key would activate play features on the original Cybertron toys, but here it's just a cool callback. After getting him all assembled, I only have a few notes about the robot mode. One is that he's very wide and top heavy. Everything is above the waist and it gives him chicken legs. I mean, they're already like 70% of the toy because they're so long, and this doesn't help at all. The second one is that he doesn't have light piping, but I really do like the purple of his eyes, so this doesn't really bug me that much. It was just something I wanted to point out. The third thing is that the ball joint in his head is really weird, so he snaps forward sometimes because he can't hold poses. Thing number 4 is a two-parter. First, he has a double joint here that lets the kibble slide down, giving him better range. Second thing is the black paint on the tip of these jets feels like the Astrotrain black from Siege that makes my fingers feel gross. So, his articulations are fantastic. He is just packed with joints. Starting with the arms, surprisingly he has a butterfly joint on the shoulder letting the whole arm swing out. It feels like something you'd see on a bigger figure like the 86 Optimus Prime. We already talked about the double joint on the kibble here, but I'm really thankful that it's there. Moving down to the bicep, he has a swivel, but it keeps popping out for me. And he has a double elbow for transformation, and it really helps with the range for posability. And finally, he has that wrist swivel that we all know and love, and I really am grateful that he has one. But this bit on his forearm really makes things difficult. The purple blades swing out and complement the figure so perfectly. I'm so glad they kept this from the original figure. Moving on to the middle, I'm very happy that he has a waist twist. It's limited, but he still has a reasonable range of movement. Then he has the standard hip and thigh rotation with normal knees, but the calves have a little dip on the back that lets them go up farther than normal. As for the ankles, they have a lot of transformation joints in them, making them very complex. With all of the work here, he balances beautifully and poses immaculately. Okay, so now it's time for the transformation, but as I was practicing, it kept falling apart. So you don't need to take these off, but it really does help. The tail fins here have an issue lining up too, so you can take them off, make the piece, and plug it back in. So the first real thing we need to do is open up the forearms and put the hands away. Then we're going to spin the forearms around, pointing the gray inward. Then the biceps are going to tap out of the shoulders and fold up, lining up this port to the peg on the side of the body. Then we pull this back piece down to hide the head, but this piece here also keeps breaking off. Now we take the entire back section of the robot and force it up. I say force because this clip is particularly tight. And this is where things get annoying. If you don't line things up just right, they will not tab into place. So first we move the leg out and open up the calf. Then we raise the foot and uncurl the toe. Now with the legs, we need to bend the knee and the thigh goes into the calf. And this is what I was talking about. You can't really see them, but there are these tiny little tabs on the back of the ankle. And it doesn't say it on the instructions, but if these little bastards aren't in the little hole under the nose of the jet, it will not click in, and it's not something that can just slide in. One will go in like it's no problem, but you need to lift the other one and get it in there, and if you don't know they're there, then you won't know what you're doing wrong. And then after this, the pegs on the elbow will always have trouble lining up with the ports on the knees, and even so, they will have trouble staying in the knees. After clipping in the toes, all that's left to do is close the undercarriage, and this is like the most important part because it creates tension on the figure that holds holds it all together. And I love the alt mode. It's absolutely beautiful. It's classic. It's just as great as the original, and I am in love with it. And I'm just so excited to open up my other Cybertronian Seekers, like the Gameverse one and the Bumblebee movie one, and now I'm even tempted to buy the Titanium series one. So, final thoughts. This toy is amazing, and I'm having trouble thinking of anything wrong with it because some issues I have are just so small that they get cancelled out by how good other things are. Like the eyes. Instead of light piping, they are colored plastic, but the light purple pink is so great that it doesn't bug me at all. It's just a little unfortunate it's tough to see. The second thing is the paint. The black paint on the tip of the jets is that gross dry stuff I hate that makes me worried that literally anything is gonna scratch it off. The red paint on the other hand is great. It's perfect, it stays in the lines, it isn't sloppy, and it even sparkles. Now the navy blue has me torn. This dark navy blue is glossy and beautiful, but they only use it like twice, but it has begun to chip in places like his toes. And the little metallic accents of gold and silver is just the cherry on top this design needed. But I really wish they gave him more. The vintage toy really gives him nice detailing, but here it's just delicated straight into the mold. And I think that makes him very bland and boring, and this is where my next point comes in. The colors. He is literally just a big gray slice of pizza. Aside from some of the dark navy blue plastic in like 3 spots, he's mainly gray. And unfortunately, the beautiful purple plastic doesn't save him from this negative point because we literally only get it in the cockpit as far as the figure. The rest of the purple plastic comes from the accessories. And speaking of those, my 5th point is that he parts forms, but judging from every vintage toy on Mercari and eBay and the dirge that I got from the swap meet, I think that it was very necessary to avoid breakage. And to be very honest, I think it's very convenient and I appreciate it. But what I don't appreciate is this toy breaking every chance it gets, and the transformation doesn't help with that by being stubborn. Something the figure does really right is the weapon storage. The big rifle stores in the undercarriage of the vehicle and it looks very natural. And something we can't forget is the articulation and posability. He is just full of joints and hinges, and you've seen how well he balances, so you can get him into some very epic and dynamic poses. And that thing about his head snapping back and not being able to rotate as much does give him that issue of having to face forward in most poses, but it in no way hinders the figure and the way it looks. So my final rating is a high 8 out of 10. I really recommend picking up this figure over the vintage one, and now I'm really excited to open up the other Cybertronian Seekers, especially the video game ones, but to see that you're gonna have to subscribe.